is good, y'all? Welcome back to Chris and Rolf Productions. So today I'm gonna be getting into the Creature Commandos and everything that we know. Creature Commandos is gonna be the first official Gods and Monsters Chapter One project for James Gunn's DCU. So for this, I'm gonna get into the casting, what we know about the specifics of the show, some concept art, some footage from the studio that's going to be animating this project, and some other stuff that I really want to get into. So let's go ahead and hop into it. First, this Creature Commandos is going to be rated TVMA, and thank God. Obviously, we know James Gunn can do wonderful things with rated R and TVMA, with Peacemaker, with the Suicide Squad. So for him to have this TVMA animated, I'm sure it's going to be absolutely ridiculous. 7 episodes. That is what's listed on IMDb, and that's what's expected. The 7 episodes. I wish it was 70 episodes, but that's what we're getting. It's expected to be the fall release date, and I'm assuming it's not going to be pushed back because James on Threads has been saying that they've already recorded everything. The animation's already done. The last thing that they're doing is just editing. Like I guess either doing some final touches or actually editing the episode into where it's gonna go, and it's gonna be on Max. So it's most likely gonna be week by week. That's the format that Max normally does. That's what they did for Peacemaker. So we'll see if it's gonna be 7 episodes animated. Who knows if they'll do week by week? But I just want to see it right away. So let's go ahead and get into the cast. Heads up, I might mispronounce some of the names. I'm going to try my best. Let's go ahead and get into the lead. That's going to be Frank Grillo as Rick Flag Sr. So we know Rick Flag Jr. Was in the Suicide Squad, and unfortunately, he did not have a happy ending in that film. Peacemaker took him out. And so, from my understanding, I believe Creature Commandos is going to take place current timeline because normally Creature Commandos takes place during World War II. So Rick Flag Singer, played by Frank Grillo, obviously you know him as Crossbones over at the MCU. He's been vocal about how he wasn't too happy how things ended over there for his character, and that he's beyond happy to be in the DC, in the DCU. Next, we have Indira Varma as Bride of Frankenstein. Bride of Frankenstein, obviously, she's best known for the Universal Monsters, Bride of Frankenstein. So in this iteration, she's part of the team. She's badass, and from the looks of it, it looks like she knows how to, handle a couple of guns and take out some Nazis. So I'm assuming I don't know much about Indira. I don't think I've ever seen anything of hers. Um, but if James Gunn casted her out of all the, I'm sure he's done a lot of readings and stuff with other actresses. If that's who he went, I'm sure she's going to be amazing. So let's go ahead and get into the Bride of Frankenstein's counterpart, and that's going to be Eric Frankenstein, played by David Harbour. Eric Frankenstein is most likely he's going to be so. Eric Frankenstein is a main focal point in the comics for Creature Commandos. Speaking of comics, later on in this video, I'm going to recommend you something to read if you want to get more into the Creature Commandos world. David Harbour, obviously Hopper from Stranger Things, Red Guardian, and Black Widow, and many other projects. He's also Hellboy. Depending on how you like that project or not, he's still Hellboy. And for Eric Frankenstein, he is, like I said, he's a big part of this crew. He's had a lot of solo runs. Eric Frankenstein. He's been a part of a lot of other iterations of Creature Commandos, and I believe in Justice League Dark and things like that. So David Harbour, he's a badass of a actor. So let's go ahead and get into the next one. Sean Gunn. He's going to be GI Robot. Also, heads up, I don't know much about many of these characters. I did purchase a graphic novel literally today. So I'm gonna get more into tune into what their personalities are. But Sean Gunn, he's gonna have three different roles in the DCU, one of them being GI Robot. Next, he's going to continue as Weasel. If you saw Suicide Squad, you know Weasel is an absolute head case of a character. And when I say head case, there's really no brain in there, because he is just a absolute like beast of a character. Um, Weasel was he stole the screen every scene that he was on Suicide Squad. So Sean Gunn as Weasel, that's gonna be pretty fun again. Next we have Zoe Chow as Nina Mazursky. Like I mentioned, don't know much about some of these characters. From the looks of it, it looks like she's going to be sort of a I don't know. I don't know. When I read Creature Commandos, I hopefully she's involved, Nina. Um, she looks very much like a creature of the Black Lagoon type of character, and a lot of these characters, very much inspirations from the Universal monsters, Creature of the Black Lagoon, obviously Bride of Frankenstein, and then the monster, Eric Frankenstein. So next we have Alan Tudyk as Dr. Phosphorus. Alan Tudyk, he's very tied in with DC. He was in Doom Patrol, and Alan and James Gunn, they go way back. So Dr. Phosphorus, I assume he's gonna be like a mad scientist. From the images that I've seen, he reminds me a little bit of the Roach from Monsters vs. Aliens. I forget the name of that guy. But Dr. Phosphorus, I'm sure he's nothing like that. He looks from the look from the artwork right here looks absolutely badass. Next, we have Viola Davis as Amanda Waller. So the reason why I mentioned earlier that I think it's most likely going to take place in the current time of the DCU is because Amanda Waller is going to be involved. And Viola Davis, wonderful, wonderful actress, and she's been an amazing Viola Davis. Oh, excuse me, she's been an amazing Amanda Waller. So to see her come back is going to be dope, especially in animation to see how they handle that with Amanda. And obviously she's getting her own show, Waller. So we're going to be seeing a lot of Viola. So that's pretty cool. Next we have Maria Bakalova. Okay, I'm gonna try this again. Maria Bakalova. There you go, as Iana Rostovich. This character is an original character for Creature Commandos. So as of right now, I don't believe there's any artwork. I've been researching. There's nothing for Iana. So I'm curious how Marie is going to play this character, what she's going to do. If you've seen Guardians of the Galaxy, if you're watching this, and I'm assuming you are a massive James Gunn fan like I am, and you've seen Guardians, she's actually Cosmo. So if you want to have a little look into see how Maria is as a voice actress, she's Cosmo. So that's pretty dope. Next, we have Steve Agee returning as Johnny Conamos. Steve Agee, obviously, in the Suicide Squad for a bit. He is absolutely hilarious. And then he's Diebeard in Peacemaker, which he has a massive role in that show. Steve Agee, I follow him on social media. He is an absolute wonderful, person to follow on Instagram if you want to go follow. And yeah, Johnny Economos, I'm happy to see him back. There's no word if Harcourt is going to return. Jennifer Holland's character. There's no word of that. She's not listed in the casting. That's why I didn't include her. But who knows? Maybe she will. We shall see. Next, we have Anya Shalatora as Cersei. She's going to be the main villain of this story. So James Gunn, he hasn't came out and officially confirmed her as the villain, Anya. But she's listed in the IMDb as Cersei, and there's been multiple reports that she's gonna be Cersei. So I'm pretty confident in including her in this official casting, because obviously Creature Commandos, they need a villain. So yeah, and if you look behind her, there's Wonder Woman, Zatanna, and Swamp Thing, Justice League Dark. So Cersei, obviously, she's had many iterations with Creature Commandos, with Justice League Dark. So I'm very very looking forward to see how they're gonna handle this character in animation. Speaking of animation, the studio that's going to be animating Creature Commandos is Bobby Pills. Right here is the teaser for season 2 of Invincible that came out last year. If you've seen Invincible, you know that the animation, and I love Invincible, the animation does not look this good. So for James Gunn to have this studio fully animate Creature Commandos, this gets me absolutely excited. it just look at the my favorite part is just the shadows and how it coincides with the head movements and the movements of the characters. I think that looks beautiful. Next, it just looks polished. It's a very distinct looking animation, especially for if this is going to be for the DCU and DC animation. Um, kind of like What If. What If is very distinct, and I think it looks amazing. And now that I think about it, Bobby Pill's animation looks very similar to X Men '97. And X Men '97, a lot of people had issues on it not being traditional 2D. But I think this looks incredible the way that they have this portrayed, and I'm very much looking forward to see what Bobby Pills and them do with Creature Commandos because we know that it's going to be hard R, and I'm really really looking forward to that. If you're interested in seeing other iterations of Creature Commandos, look further no furthermore than this. I think this came out like 10, 11 years ago. This is from DC YouTube. You can find all the episodes online. It's shorts that was created for Creature Commandos. Right here, you see the reincarnation of Eric Frankenstein. And the reason why I added this on here is because if you're just in the mood to see kind of like what these characters are, or you kind of want to have an idea of what they do, well, Lucky Private Take. Okay, I don't know if that's the original one. Yeah, you can watch this on YouTube. Just look up Creature Commanders animation, and I'm sure you'll be able to find it. And yeah, I just wanted to add this on there, so just to see if you were interested in watching something like that. Medusa, that's pretty badass. All right, next we have some concept art. So this was included in a presentation by I think one of the participating animation studios, if not Bobby Pills. And the reason why I'm including this as well is because this stuff was never debunked by James Gunn online, and he actually commented on the presentation that that studio presented. Because I think the studio messed up the release date. They said something 2025, and James Gunn came out and said, "No, it's not 2025. It's 2024. Whatever." But he never debunked this concept art. So I was like, okay, cool. I'm gonna take it for what it is and see if this looks, something that they're probably gonna do in the show. Obviously, you see Eric Frankenstein. That is not the way he's gonna look in the show at all. But it's very interesting to see how he was gonna be probably presented in the show. Right there, he has a little heart tattoo on his arm. It looks pretty cool. As you see, the Bride of Frankenstein, she looks absolutely beautiful and badass. She looks a little different from what she was originally going to be. Right here, she has four arms in the comics. She has four arms as well. In the official Creature Commandos artwork, I don't know if she has the four arms. Maybe I have to go back and take a look. But this is one of the concept arts. Another piece of concept art is this. This was also included in that presentation. So it looks like a castle. It could be Cersei's castle. If not, it could be where the Bride of Frankenstein and Eric Frankenstein reside. Beneath it, you see a hallway. Not much to tell from it, but no. If this is what's included in Creature Commandos, then okay. It's a location that they're going to be in. And then the next two locations on the right, on top, it looks like it's inside of a laboratory or inside of this dungeon. It could be in the castle, for all I know. Could be Cersei's castle. And below it, it looks like it says Radio Hall. So this is New York City. I don't know if they'll ever do Gotham City in Creature Commandos for the animation, but we shall see. But I think this artwork looks absolutely beautiful. If this is what they're going to be going for their set pieces and their locations, I think this sort of gives a vibe of what they're going for. Speaking of vibes, if you want to get into the Creature Commando vibe, I highly recommend this: the Creature Commandos by J.M. DeMatteis, Robert King something. I'm sorry, I cannot pronounce that. And Fred Carrillo. I do apologize for mispronouncing some of these names. So this is actually going to be the main inspiration for Creature Commandos. This is a graphic novel you can purchase on Amazon. This is where I purchased mine. As of this recording, it's listed as $13. So if you want to check it out, it's there. So this is the first iteration of Creature Commandos, the creation of the team in 1980, and the stories in this graphic novel take place between 1980 and 1982. Well, that's when they were written, 1980 to 1982. But it takes place in World War II. As you see the team attacking a bunch of goddamn Nazis, and it's interesting to see if they're gonna have Nazis in Creature Commandos. Um, who knows if that's what they're gonna go for? It is interesting because James Gunn obviously does not sway away from any bloodbaths, and what better than to take out some Nazis, and to see that not live action, but to see that animated in the DCU would be pretty badass. Last thing I want to say, James, drop the trailer, please. Right here is a sweater with Creature Commandos that has been online, and this sweater has been worn by many people in the DCU. Most recently, I think it was Rachel. No, was it Rachel Brosnahan? Was it Rachel? Or was it David Cornsweet? Or was it Nicholas Holt? One of those three. They were wearing this sweater. It was Nicholas Holt, I think. He was wearing this sweater. Um, Eddie Gathegi, I think that's how you pronounce his name, who's going to be Mr. Terrific in Superman Legacy, or Super, not Legacy, apologies, in Superman. He wore this sweater, and a couple other people have posted this sweater online. So guys, that's pretty much everything that we know about Creature Commandos. I cannot wait for this show. I need this show now. James, please drop the trailer. Like I mentioned, it's expected fall release date. So I'm gonna go out on a limb and say October, because you have characters like the Bride of Frankenstein, like Eric Frankenstein, um, like Nina Mazursky, who's kind of like a creature of the Black Lagoon. Um, you have characters like Cersei, who looks like a myth, like a sort of a witchcraft type of being. So guys, please like, share, and subscribe if you're still watching. We do appreciate the support. Um, and yeah, if you want to get more in tune with Creature Commandos, read that comic, that graphic novel that I recommended, or follow the channel as well. I'll keep up with Creature Commandos and any new news that drops, that either be in this type of format or in a YouTube short. So as always, guys, I'm Chris. I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.